What's good, everybody? I just woke up. So apparently the NFL season is almost done. I believe I believe not next week. Well, not this Saturday, but next Saturday is playoffs. Now, obviously, my Giants are well out of the playoffs. They had a chance to at least sneak they had a chance to at least sneak inside the playoffs, but they was not gonna go far anyways. But we still have the fifth pick, depending on what happens week 18 against the Eagles. At a primetime game again. We all know how Giants do well, or actually don't do well in primetime games. It's another 4 o'clock game. And Tyrod Taylor will get another crack at it for the last time. But we are now currently holding the number fifth pick. Now, if we somehow beat the Eagles, which I think we should beat the Eagles, but then again, yesterday I heard that the Eagles are planning on starting their starters for how many minutes or for how many, I said minutes like it's basketball. For how many quarters? I don't know. I don't know if it's just for the first quarter, and then they'll just probably sit them if they have like a comfortable lead, or I don't know if he's gonna play them for the full 4 quarters. We're gonna have to play our best football. Now, obviously, again, we're out of the playoffs, but you know, with the Eagles' loss and the Cowboys' win, I believe the Cowboys will win the NFC East because due to the tiebreaker that they have. So all the Cowboys need is a Eagles loss, and then they have to win their game against I think it's against the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not sure, but if they can do that, then they'll win the East. But if we win, we drop down maybe to 6, 7, 8. And if we do win, I guess we stay put at number 5, depending on what other teams do. But as far as the fifth pick, I don't know. Do the Giants trade down even further? What do the Giants do in this situation? Now, obviously, they can go and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think that's going to solve anything because the offensive line is still broken. They can, pick a great offensive lineman. There's an offensive lineman from Penn State. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's pretty good. But then again, that's how the Giants fell for Evan Neal, right? Like Alabama, you'd expect Alabama players to be top notch, right? Not all the time. There's been a few Alabama players that didn't pan out. Trenton Richardson, Landon Collins. So there's been a few that didn't pan out. There's been a few that has. But this guy from Penn State, he's pretty good. He can play multiple positions. He can play the guard, the tackle, right tackle. So he's more flexible than Evan Neal. But I would choose an offensive line because obviously I'm not sold on any of these quarterbacks outside of Caleb Williams, who's probably going to go number one. Now, if he slides down, that's even worse. Because there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft that the Bears can pick, but if they are fully sold on Caleb Williams, then pick him. And the Cardinals are probably going to pick Marvin Harrison Jr. because obviously Kyler Murray needs help on the deep threat, right? I think they got rid of Brown, or I think they still have Brown, but they just needed like another deep threat. So the the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Cardinals makes a lot of sense. And then at number, what was it, one, two, three, four, five. So yeah, so maybe you'll probably see two quarterbacks go in the first round, you know? And then now pick at number five. Where will the Giants pick at number five? Now, like I said, just retool the offensive line. It don't have to be a sexy pick. It don't have to be a cute pick. It just has to be a pick that makes sense. And obviously, is the offensive line has been a thorn in our side since ever since Eli Manning retired. You know, because we was just so heavily, you know, like the Giants was just so heavily when they had the big five of Kareem McKenzie, Chris Snead, David Deal, Sean O'Hara, they forgot to retool the offensive line. They didn't think that that offensive line would crumble the way they did. That offensive line started all 16 games together. And we thought that okay, this offensive line will never break down. But obviously it broke down, and we had to retool. Some of them retired, others obviously went to different teams. So yeah, that was the best offensive lineman we had. And some of them were not even drafted by us. Like Sean O'Hara, he was an undrafted free agent. Cut by the Browns. We picked him up. And he became our longest center, starting center. And then after that, I think it was David Boss. When Bass, I think it was David Bass when he retired. When Sean O'Hara retired, David Dill was still probably like the second longest attender that we had, and then after that it was Chris Snee, Tom Coughlin's son-in-law, and then after that Kareem McKenzie started deteriorating. It was just bad. I think the Giants did not do their homework or didn't care about retooling, revamping the offensive line, and it shows. And I tell people this all the time. You can have the greatest running back, you can have the greatest receivers, but if you don't have time in that pocket, if that offensive line, if those big 300-pound men don't give you time of day to throw, you're going to be non-existent. Eli Manning was the third highest sack quarterback. I think Andrew Luck was first, and then Philip Rivers, and then Eli. Eli was the most sacked quarterback around 2000 and 15, I'll probably say. So this offensive line has been a working progress ever since Eli retired, and it's gotten worse. We drafted, we tried to draft offensive linemen, but it didn't work. Pugh didn't work out. What was the other name? What was that dude's name? I forgot. I forgot his name, but it'll come to me. The dude that we drafted from Miami, the offensive tackle that we drafted from Miami, he didn't pan out. So we have drafted offensive linemen. It just didn't pan out. You know, and it takes time to gel. It takes time for that offensive lineman to gel. It's not like you just throwing a tight end in there and throwing in a running back and throwing a receiver, and it probably take like 3 days for y'all to get, going. But the offensive line, it'll, I mean, that position will take at least 4 or 5 years to gel. It's not gonna, like, you're gonna be seeing the same bull crap next year. Like, nothing is gonna change. It's not like you can just revamp the whole offensive lineman and just, it doesn't work that way. I mean, unless you have guys that know what they're doing and know how to draft, which the Giants don't necessarily do. I mean, if you look at the Giants' track record at drafting, it's terrible. It's really terrible. Outside of the Eli trade and Lawrence Taylor and picking Michael Strahan and I mean, they kind of redeemed themselves early 2000, but since then they just been abysmal at drafting. You know, I mean, you would expect the Giants, big city, big lights, this and that, like they know what they're doing, but they actually don't. I mean, they picked Odell Beckham Jr. instead of Mike Evans. I wanted Mike Evans, to be honest with you. There's no shot at Odell, but I wanted Mike Evans because I like tall receiver. I'm 6'2". So I like the tall receivers with long wingspan. You know what I'm saying? Like long wingspan. Because they could catch those 50-50 balls. Odell's not going to be doing what freaking Mike Evans is doing or Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson. Like his damage is after the catch and a lot of slants. That was his damage. And drafting David Wilson, uh, drafting, Ryan Nassib, he was supposed to be the backup or he was supposed to be the replacement of Eli once he was done. That didn't turn out, great. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the Giants are doing, but if they don't turn this around quickly, the Giants might possibly have to move to a different location because like there's a lot of things that we have to clean up. There's a lot. So the Giants will pick an offensive lineman with the fifth pick. It depends, like I said, it depends on what happens. But if everything goes according to plan and the Giants stick with the fifth pick, they're going to pick on offensive linemen. I can't see the Giants picking a quarterback because they don't want that in their, because you know how the media is, right? Like once you have two quarterbacks, oh my gosh, a competition. Now it's more pressure on Daniel Jones because he has a rookie quarterback behind him, and if he fucks up or if he gets hurt, then, it's all for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Giants should obviously do what they do best and stick with the plan. Stick with Daniel Jones. Let's give him another run and see what he can do. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously he didn't fully play all 18 games. You know what I'm saying? He got hurt. He can't. He tried to come back, or I don't think they. I think they forced him back because I knew he wasn't ready to come back, but they threw him back in there anyways and got hurt again. So, you know, it is what it is. But the Giants, the Giants don't need to take a quarterback. They really don't. I mean, they could take a quarterback next year if everything doesn't pan out. Because I heard from a buddy of mine, the Giants next year are going to start 1-7. Yeah, they'll win their home opener, right? I don't know if it's going to be a new coach. I don't know if it's going to be Brian Dable again. Obviously, he's still on the contract, so probably next year is probably going to be his last year here, and they'll probably start 1-0. Beating whoever they face week one. It's probably going to be the Cowboys again, and then they're gonna probably go on a 7-game losing streak, and they will probably go 1-7. That's just my prediction. Actually, that's not my prediction. It's a prophecy. So yeah. So I'm not gonna be able to watch the game because I'm gonna be too busy doing draft picks and whatever. I know I'm not gonna hit all of them, but I might probably hit like the first 3 rounds. because obviously that's just more important. So I'm just gonna focus on the round one, round two, and then round three, and then round four, five, six, it's up in the air. So yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. If you're a Giants fan, let me know in the comment section down below, who do you want the Giants to select at number 5 if we stay at number 5. So yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.